Hey everyone, what's going on? Brody here. I just wanted to jump on and I thought it was a good time to reflect on this week or the last week that I've had, in that I just finished grading 90% of the Sword and Shield Boltards in PSA 10. If you follow me on Instagram, if you follow me on YouTube, you might have seen that I did get back the Giratina and the Golurk, both in PSA 10 from Lost Origin and Evolving Skies. And it wasn't until last week when I got the upcharge email. So if you've graded before, when you get an upcharge, you'll get an invoice basically. The invoice will have all the items that you've graded and what the grade was, and it'll be highlighted where PSA doesn't think that the card meets the tier that you've submitted at. So I'd submitted those cards at bulk tier, which was at $13.99 at the time. That's USD prices, and they wanted to upcharge it to $74.99 because, from an insurance point of view and a value point of view, the card was much higher. So the PSA 10 must be, I think, somewhere around 2,000 AUD at the moment, which blows my mind. At the time of recording, it's mid-February. And so I got that email and I got the invoice, and the first thing when you get the email, this whole time, I should take a step back. The whole time I've been waiting to get these cards back. I've been like, oh, I hope the Giratina gets a 10. I hope the Giratina gets a 10. If you've seen the Instagram stuff, I've talked about the Giratina not being perfect. It did have a print line on the back, but otherwise the card was really immaculate for a Giratina, and typically they don't grade well. They're always off center, really off center normally. So that was only the one issue. And so to get that email finally come through after waiting so long, I think that PSA return took close to 100 days from door to door, including weekends and all that stuff. That's not PSA return times. Anyway, and the relief of opening that email and seeing that they'd upcharged it and the result was a PSA 10 was just insane. I was just so much relief, so much like weight off my shoulders, because this set means so much to me, and trying to finish this now. I think I'm basically over 2.5 years into it. I started with the first cards getting graded in somewhere in September, October of 2022, so I'm well on my way to this being a 3-year journey, if I don't get it all done by around September. So to get that, and then I think the realization kicked in even more so when I got the cards back just this week. I got the Giratina back and the Golurk and a couple other cards. If you watched last week's video, that was the PSA return, and just to have it in hand, to have the Giratina back now, like that is one of the hardest cards to grade from Sword and Shield Alt Arts anyway. That is like that, along with a couple other cards in Lost Origin and a few other cards in other sets. That's one of the hardest cards to hit in the PSA 10. It's not like the Umbreon VMAX, which is a 75% PSA 10 rate. It's somewhere in the 45 to 50%. So every 1 in 2 times that you send, one is going to get a 10, one's going to get a 9 basically. And that's actually what happened to me with my 9 and 10 that I'd sent originally. So funny that. Just the relief and just to see it in person, like, man, I think I can actually finish grading the alt arts, self-grade all the alt arts in PSA 10 this year. Like, I think it's actually possible, and that's a really, on reflection, it felt good. It was like, wow, I can actually finish this now. I'm going to be able to do it. I think if I hadn't got that Giratina in a 10, I would have been, not feeling as great about the whole thing. I would have been, I think, a bit upset. I'll be like, oh, back to the drawing board. Like, how am I going to find a Giratina now? And so the relief was just crazy. So I'm just so happy, because I'm like, I think I can really do this now. Between probably November last year, November 2024 to February 2025, I was buying up the other alt arts I still needed. There's 7 of those cards that I've actually already sent off to PSA, so they're at PSA now. They'll probably be a while, considering how PSA has been going with returns and stuff. I know they've slowed right down. Like, my submission was like 4 months, that last one. So I think with what I've sent, those 7, I think I have a really good shot at actually finishing the alt art set this year. I have yeah, I think I've put some really good cards forward. Obviously, those, if you're not aware, the cards that I still need to grade, I'll pop them on the screen. But the Espeon and Leafeon from Evolving Skies, the Galarian Articuno from Chilling Reign, the Berserker from Lost Origin, and also the 2 Charizard UPC promos, which is the V and the V Star. I've got the V Max already, and then the Arceus promo from the collection box. And that's it. That's all I need. And so I think I've put forward some pretty good cards as part of that. So fingers crossed that finishes in the next 2 to 3 months. Probably not going to be the next 2 months. Probably going to be 3, maybe even 4 months to get that back. And hopefully, as part of that sub, I hit all 10s. It'll be a long shot to get the Arceus and both the Charizards in 10s, but I think all the main set cards like the Leafeon and the Espeon, I think those can definitely hit 10s. But yeah, from there, like I think that'll be like the real point of like this is it. Like I am literally almost done, especially if I get 5 out of 7 PSA 10s or 4 out of 7. Like that means there's literally only 3 other cards I have to chase down and send off to hit 10s. So yeah, it's definitely going to be. I think it'll definitely be worth it in the end, and it'll be a good opportunity to celebrate that achievement as part of my collecting since I've been back in the hobby, because I really got back into it and then went for it. Particularly, like I think the 2 points in time that I really went for the set were when I got started buying a few, which would have been the end of 2022 after I got back my first couple, and then during the start of 2024 I went really hard trying to buy up as many as I could, and so I think I graded 44 out of the 75 PSA 10s just during 2024. So that was 50% of all the cards I needed I literally bought throughout 2024. So I really went hard last year to try to finish the goal. It's really hard when you're competing against other people who are trying to buy the cards and then just having time to search for cards. So it does get difficult to do that. So I think, yeah, there'll be an opportunity for me to celebrate and reflect on that and be like, well, what's next for me now? But yeah, I'll probably put out a bit of content around that, around completing that if and when, touch wood, if and when I do finish it, I'll definitely put out some content around that and celebrate the achievement. But yeah, I just want to jump on, have a bit of a ramble, talk about the Giratina, which I do have here. It's just here. I should have actually flashed it up on the screen before. That's it there in a PSA 10. Let's on to the next thing after that. But for now, I'm going to wait for my PSA return to finish, my PSA sub to finish, and hopefully I can finish the set and we go from there. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you all next week. Bye.